So let's be honest. Have you ever been caught on your phone and you open it for a task and then all of a sudden 30 minutes later you are just scrolling hard on the internet and looking for the end of it, and you've got dog videos and you're watching somebody in China get adjusted like on their shoulders and stuff. I've
seen some crazy adjustments.
There's like crazy stuff out there, I know. So we're going to talk today about a dopamine detox and really why it's not just about what you're doing on your phone and getting like sucked in, but what like the neurology behind that is. Welcome everybody to the Battle Ready podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kalie Judge, and I've got my friend Molly. She is going to be our little co-host from now on.
Yay.
I needed a buddy. If you watched the last few months of the episodes of the podcast, it got very boring for me, and I was like praying over it, mulling over it, like who do I want on this podcast? What am I looking for? And Molly was one of the first people that like popped into my mind because she is so absolutely hilarious and has the like a little bit of the strangest questions when it comes to health things and super gorge. And yeah, you're just passionate about what you do. So tell us, introduce yourself to the world.
Okay. Hi, I'm Molly. And yeah, I met Kalie. I'm trying to think the first time I actually met you, but I feel like
it was at Natalie's house for the first
right.
girls' night.
Yeah, we just hung on the couch and we talked about
and you were like the only person in the room that wasn't my patient. And you're like, I should probably be there.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. And then another few months went by, and then I finally came to see you. But yeah, I feel like we've really gotten to know each other better, and just maybe in the past 6 months or so. You are me and my kid's chiropractor, which is just one part of a relationship. But I think that's kind of how we started that friendship. So thankful to have you in our lives. You have really immensely changed them. And yeah, I'm just so excited to be here. I would be lying if I didn't say that I was shocked and shooketh that you asked me to be here.
Thus shooketh the Lord.
Thus shooketh my soul when you asked me to be here. But equally just honored, and like this is such a privilege to be here. I think I represent like a lot of people in our friend group and just like in our lives that have similar views as we do. So I'm just privileged and super happy to be here, and thank you for having faith in me to do this, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, so Molly's a mom of 2 amazing, beautiful kids. You said kids, but she lives this in like a mom version, right? So I think for me that was like, I want people to be able to relate to somebody else. I think sometimes people look at me and they're like, oh, it's somebody who has all of this figured out and she knows all the answers, and so it's sometimes like unrelatable. Yeah. And so I think having you here is going to help like bring us back down to earth and be able to like, I'm the same as you, although I don't have kids and that kind of thing. But like, I'm just on this journey of trying to figure things out as well.
Yeah. 1,000,000%. I'm happy to provide kind of more of a lay person's like perspective on some of these things and a non-expertise level, but just like a vested interest in these things and certain things I've walked out in my life, and some things I'm still researching, and but I love all the information.
Yeah, same. I mean, she sends the most outrageous questions to me sometimes. I'm like, like I laugh every time I get a text from her with a question. I'm like, there's not another person that would ask me this question, but here we go with Molly. Like, and then we go through a whole dialogue with it. It's so fun. Yeah. So we are going to talk about dopamine and those types of things. Yeah. This was interesting for you. You said like this really like caught your attention. Why did this topic catch your attention?
The dopamine effect, like just the oversaturation of media, like social media, entertainment, just everything that we have in our daily lives that really only supplies a very small amount of, I don't know how to really explain it. It's just like quick hits of dopamine that are not sustainable long term. Actually really can damage your life. Yeah. And so, we just live in the social media TikTok world, and I would love to see us kind of like maybe back away from that and shift into a more sustainable, healthy way of living. I think how we were meant to live. So I think this is just so important to talk about.
Fun fact, did you know that an average person touches their phone like clicks it, touches it, opens it, scrolls an average of 2,600 times a day.
A day.
And that's like on the low end. So if you're like super addicted to your phone, it's like 5,000 times plus.
That's crazy.
Per day.
That is crazy.
Isn't that
just
insane?
The average person. Yeah.
The average person.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And I was thinking about that. And I was thinking about, have you ever like accidentally left your phone at home?
Yeah.
And like you feel it buzz in your pocket, but it's not even anywhere near you.
The phantom buzz.
Yeah, the phantom buzz. Like, or you sit there, you put your phone, like I have if we're out to dinner or something, I'll put my phone down.
Yeah.
And I have to like consciously catch myself from flipping my phone over to check and see like, listen, I have an Apple Watch. It gives me notifications like when my phone goes off. I don't need to check my phone for any reason. And also like the people that I'm with typically are the people that I want to be with, right?
Right.
But we have so much like, we think we're missing out on so many things. And social media has sort of destroyed us when it comes to that.
It so has. And just like being always available, like on your phone. I'm sure you use your phone to an extent just for your business and for work and stuff. And I do about 85% of my like planning for my work on my phone. So it just is a very gray area of like, I'll start being on my phone for work purposes and then end up, like you said, in the trenches on TikTok, like just watching something crazy.
China videos,
which yes, that's a whole other like.
You know what I get caught up is those videos where they put silicone colors in the wheel. And it goes from being a clear silicone.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And I watch the entire I can't stop watching it. Like
you need
why?
to see it through.
Or like somebody like frosting a cake. Like I have to watch the entire frosting process.
Yes, 1,000,000%.
What is that?
Yeah, I've watched like paint mixing
videos
videos for
you
like
get done
too long.
And you're like, what did I just waste and they're long. They're not like
short. 5
They're
minutes.
they're long videos. But we also have to realize that dopamine isn't really a bad thing. We just overuse it.
Right.
So dopamine, one of the things I want to like have us kind of think about it as is like our motivational coach. It's the thing that it's a neurotransmitter. So chemically speaking, it's the thing that in our brain wires us to go and achieve goals and go after the things that we love and go be with people that we want to be with and do our jobs well and go for a walk outside and anything that helps us feel good in that moment. Those are the things that are going to like have a dopamine spike.
Yeah.
It just is unfortunately the phone does that very quickly.
Yeah.
Especially the dopamine spikes get really, really real when you like post something and then you wait to see how many people like it and comment. And so then you'll go like, and I'm guilty of this too. Like I'll go back and like check to see how many likes did I get?
Sure.
Who liked it? Why didn't this person like it? Why don't they like me anymore?
Slippery
Like
slope.
all those things, right?
Slippery slope.
So then it has to like turn into this whole situation where then it turns into maybe it's a downer from that because then you don't have the likes that you're getting. And so you either delete the post or go into like a depression mode and all these things. So
yeah, 100%.
we've got to work towards like balancing this whole dopamine situation out. So I got a couple key roles of dopamine here. So number one, it says it gets you excited to take action. It helps you stay locked in on a task. It helps to reinforce behaviors that bring a reward. Like if you worked out today and you feel amazing, you're most likely going to want to work out tomorrow and feel amazing.
Right.
Low dopamine levels can leave you feeling flat or unmotivated, while balanced levels help you feel driven and optimistic.
Yeah.
One of the things you said when you got in here, you're like, I worked out this morning because I wanted to make sure that I had my like dopamine like at the right level.
Yeah.
Like, what was your motivating factor for that? Like, how often do you work out? What's your sort of routine with that?
I like to work out in the beginning of the day usually. I think this new year in 2025, that was really one of the goals that I had going into it, was just to be more consistent with my workout routine. I don't do anything crazy in the gym, honestly. I just like kind of like walk fast for like 30 to 45 minutes and like lift some free weights and then I sauna. So it's not like I have this crazy, I wanted to keep it as doable as possible for me, something that I can look forward to. And it really, like the after effects, you can feel how much better and just like more even like your state of mind is for the rest of the day. Like I'm always a little bit more just like calm and more attentive, I would say. That's that dopamine. That's like a healthy level of dopamine. Yeah. So that was a big goal for me for 2025 because I knew I wanted to kind of like balance that out in my life a little bit.
I know for like working out for some people, it's like, it's a scary thing. It's like, especially if they're overweight or it's been a while, they're just not as in shape or going through a health challenge. Yeah. And even like walking into a new space, I'll share a personal story. This past weekend, so most of you know this already. I trained for half Ironmans, long distance, endurance, all the things. And I normally train alone. So I have my like bike set up in my basement. I have a treadmill for when it's not good weather. I do most of my training just on my own time. I go to the pool, I swim by myself. So for me, it is a very like isolating experience. And I've had a friend who has been like, for the last 2 years, he's like, you need to like work out with people. He's like, because this is just not going to be fun for you. Yeah. So even though I was getting these like dopamine spikes, I was like, this isn't fun. I don't want to show up. I'm just doing this because I feel like I have to. So you can have almost like even though you felt good, have like a negative effect towards that. Yeah. This past weekend on Saturday, he invited me and another friend of ours to go work out with this group of people that do this cycling class. And it's all like Ironman trainers. And there's this, it's intimidating because like I have a longing to qualify for some of the world championships for Ironman, but it's big and it's scary and it's an audacious goal that I have, right? Yeah. So I was afraid. He's been asking me to go to this place for 2 years. And I was like scared to go be the new girl in the group and to go do the workout. And anyway, I ended up going this weekend and I had the best time ever. Wow. I got to meet new people and like as scary as it was even more fun. So I think I tell that because if you are like hesitant about going to work out or go try something new. Maybe it's even like a yoga class or a bar class or a CrossFit class or a cycling class at your gym. Like just like rip the Band-Aid off because the benefits of working out in a group together with people, I think helps also. Yeah. Or just going to the gym for the first time is so huge for people.
It's like an added level of motivation. And also if you're more of a social creature, just being around other people. Yeah.
I'm not a social creature. No. I'm the opposite of a social creature.
Yeah, kind of introverted. Right?
Yeah. Which is why like me working out in my basement like really worked out for me. Yeah. So, but for me, like one of my goals this year is like, let's go be social with people and like go out and do things and have fun. And, that's part of the whole thing too, is you've got to kind of branch out and see what that feels like.
Yeah. So, it's all about pushing yourself.
Yeah. I love your like, I don't make it complicated in the gym comment because I think that's another thing that people are like, I don't know what to do once I get there.
Yeah, 100%.
So making it simple is just as good. Like even like if you do want to work out at home, there's high intensity interval workouts that you can do that are like 10, 15 minutes and you're going to get an amazing effect from it.
Yeah, I used to do those a lot when both of my kids were really little because all I had was 15 minutes and I couldn't even leave the house. So your living room, good to go.
Okay, I want to talk about some of the things that dopamine works with. So there's serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, cortisol, and norepinephrine. Serotonin is the one that helps to regulate your mood, keeps you calm and content. Makes you feel balanced and happy. And when dopamine levels spike too high, usually because of like let's say you're doing like a social media binge and you're just scrolling. Sometimes when I go on vacation, I like search for the end of the internet and it's kind of a funny thing, but like I just keep scrolling. Yeah. So when your dopamine levels are really, really high, your serotonin levels start to dip. So this is where you start to feel that like anxious and unsatisfied feeling. Wow. So this is just an example. Like if you even were to have like a sugary snack, you feel good for the moment, but then a few hours, few minutes later, you start to feel sluggish and even like get moody afterwards.
Yeah.
So you have one thing, the dopamine, that makes you feel really good about it, but then the serotonin comes in and dips lower, and that happy hormone starts to go away.
Wow.
We've got oxytocin, which is the connection hormone. Tocin is released during moments of bonding and trust, like hugging someone you love or holding a baby. Dopamine gives you the reward feeling when you accomplish a task, but oxytocin kicks in during relational and emotional rewards. So why does this matter? If you're consistently chasing dopamine hits from things like social media instead of a real life connection, oxytocin levels can stay low, making you feel lonely or disconnected. So let's go back to lonely workout in the basement. Kalie and her now 2025 goals of getting into community and working out with people and being around that. It's because I need that connection, right? I need that hormone to be released in order, and even like, what would you say to someone that, because you have a very good tendency, I think even like everybody in our friend group has a very big tendency of giving a hug, hello and goodbye.
Yeah.
Is that something that's always been important for you, or is that something that's like been built over time? Or what would you say to somebody that's like, I'm not a hugger, I don't want anything to do with that?
Yeah, that's one thing that I will say when I joined the community that we are in right now. Like, everybody is a hugger. I mean, maybe not everybody, but a lot of the people that I know are huggers. And I didn't even really realize that I'm a huge physical touch person. I just never, I wasn't brought up in a community that really kind of exercised that. So I never really understood how big that was for me in the oxytocin and stuff until I had kids and, got married and stuff. It was it really filled me up to do that. And so being around people that are open to that kind of affection in a healthy way is actually, it really does fill me up. And I didn't even know that I enjoyed it as much. Not to sound creepy, but I will hug you maybe for an extra second too long. And if so, you can just break away. But yeah, I think it's important, the physical touch for sure.
Yeah, it is important, and it's important to make it a norm. Yeah. Right? I mean, this friend group that we're in is pretty new within the last, for me, within the last just over a year, really the last year. And I think it's interesting. One concept that I really love is to leave a seat at the table or to leave the circle open. And so what that concept is if you're, let's say you're at church and you're talking in a group, instead of keeping the circle closed, you always leave a space for somebody to be able to walk in to that circle so that they feel connected.
Love that.
I don't always do that perfectly, but I think that that's something, another thing to practice. Or if you're at a table and you're at a party and you see somebody where am I supposed to sit? Or maybe they're not with their spouse, or their best friend's not there, or they're the new person. How can I make this person feel comfortable in this moment? Yeah. And it's either getting up and giving them your seat, or pulling a chair up next to you. And there's always space for one more, you know? Yeah, and I think that we get so caught up in these circles and cliques that we don't want to invite one more person in. Yeah. But just as a practice, everybody needs a boost in their oxytocin. I promise you, everybody at some level, whether they know it or not, is looking for some sort of deeper connection.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know how much I needed it until I kind of received that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So we were talking earlier about endorphins. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. It's basically your painkiller hormone. So basically it's going to help you feel good in the moment. Yeah. So endorphins help you manage pain and give you the post-exercise high. While dopamine motivates you to get to the gym, endorphins rewards you with a sense of euphoria after you work out. So it's that
runner's high.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So what is the runner's high? Have you ever experienced that?
I don't know that I've fully experienced it because I've never really been like a long distance runner. My mom used to literally work at a running store called Runner's High, like after she retired, just like here and there. And it was obviously a running store. So we had a lot of like Ironman people coming through and, you know, different like endurance trainers and stuff like that. And I would hear about it, but I never really experienced that. I always hated running. Like I played soccer for a long time and I always hated the sprints and the long distance stuff. But I know about it.
Yeah.
But have you experienced that runner's high?
I have experienced, I also, so how do I say this? I do Ironman stuff, right? So that's like long distance everything.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like I do not like working out. And I know that after I go through these workouts, like I know, like when I left that workout on Saturday with that group of people, I left there and I was like, I could do anything.
Yeah.
Like this was so fun. I feel good. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
I remember the day that I did my Ironman, I think the thing that like pushes you through is the endorphins because like for someone to go 12, 13 hours and continuous workout, some of those people were doing 16 and a half hours of like full workout. Like, how do you do that? It's because these endorphins push you.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, the highest sign-up rate for an Ironman is, like, that night or the day after because people are on this high. And, like, you leave there and you're driving home. It's like, okay, what's the next race that I can sign up for? Because you're just on this, like, I can do anything.
Yeah.
So that would be, I guess even on, like, training runs and stuff like that, too.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know anything about cortisol?
I know a little bit about cortisol. I know that it's a stress hormone.
Good job.
Is that right?
Yeah, nailed it.
Nailed it. A+. And I know it's not necessarily something that you want.
Yes.
And it's not good for your health.
Exactly.
So
it puts your body into fight or flight mode. And I think that, so it says cortisol levels can interfere with dopamine production, making it hard to feel motivated when you're stressed out. Right. Coming off of like a pretty hard season this last year, I feel like I had cortisol levels that were just like spiked through the roof. Like the one thing that I could say is I was living in this like constant state of fight or flight. Yeah. And I know that you've kind of experienced some of the same stuff that we'll talk about later at some point, some other episodes. But what that does is it hinders your dopamine production. So even like working out became unfun. Scrolling the internet was not fun.
yeah.
Like I've got a couple Instagram group chats that like we'll send stupid memes to and like you can go in and look. Like it was super active and then it fell off because like I was just in this like fight or flight mode that I'm not checking the threads. I'm not checking the reels. And even my friends were like, you like ghosted us on the things. And it's like, I didn't have the ability to like, it's not even, it didn't interest me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like had to try to find that feel good thing a little bit more at other places. Yeah. We've also got norepinephrine, which helps to keep us alert and awake. So dopamine and norepinephrine work together to drive focus and attention. But when dopamine gets drained, norepinephrine can't keep you sharp, which gives you some brain fog. So I have like a simple statement that I created for you guys. So I want you to think of dopamine as the gas pedal. It drives you toward things that make you feel accomplished. But if your serotonin, which is considered the brakes, and cortisol, which are stress signals, aren't balanced, you're either speeding towards burnout or stuck at a standstill. A healthy chemical balance is what helps your brains. I've got some stuff about kind of some real life things, science behind dopamine, what you need to know. And I'd love for you to chime in at any point to like give us some real life. Yeah. Here's where we're at. Absolutely. There's one statement in here. I was researching and learned about baseline versus spikes and the roller coaster effect. And Andrew Huberman talks about this a lot. And your brain has a baseline level of dopamine. It's basically like your default setting. When you get hit, like when a notification goes off or you have a sugary snack or you're scrolling social media, you get a spike. Right. The problem with that is that after the spike, the dopamine drops below the base level. So the more you chase the quick hits, the lower your overall motivation and focus becomes. Right. So let's talk about notifications.
Yeah.
Do you have notifications on your phone?
I don't think my screen lights up every time I get a text. And I think actually that's one thing I decided to do in 2025 as well, was usually have my do not disturb on, because if somebody needs me, like Tom or, for work or something, they can notify me anyway. So, I absolutely love my group chats. Like I love my group chats, but I don't know that I can be checking them all of the time, just because it draws my attention away from things that are, important. And it just distracts me. And somebody who's maybe a little bit ADHD prone, like I found myself needing to really but I've definitely dealt with that in the past. The social media just pings and stuff and likes. And for my work, I do hair and makeup. And if I post something and it doesn't get a lot of likes, I'm going to be a little bit bummed. So I just kind of had to decide, I'm not going to place too much importance.
And forget it.
I'm going to set it down, especially if you're with somebody. I mean, absolutely the phone should be down so you can pay attention to them. But yeah, that's a major thing for a lot of us, I think.
I don't have notifications on for any social media apps.
No.
So I don't get the bubble. So I have a little bit I lean towards an OCD type of behavior. So if those red bubbles are on my screen, I have to clear them out.
Yes.
Which some of our friends have hundreds of thousands of red bubbles that I look at. You probably know who I'm talking about. She's one of our close friends, and I look at her phone and I'm like, how do you have so many unread text messages?
Yeah, the texts are crazy.
And red bubbles all over your phone.
Yeah.
I can't handle that. So I can't see any social media notifications.
Yeah.
They don't go to my email. I don't even think I have notifications on for my email. Yeah. Because again, it diverts attention very quickly because I have to take care of that thing that pops up.
Yes.
I do have a work thing that we communicate together that I use that notification is on. Majority of the time, my phone is on Do Not Disturb or some sort of a function.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely, I usually don't have my phone not silenced.
Yeah.
So I don't hear the bing.
Yeah. Same here. I don't have the bings on anymore unless it's waiting for a call from the husband or something.
Something
really
important.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I would recommend to you. I actually made a 30-day dopamine detox, and I want to kind of coach you through it's a different task every single day for you to go and try. And some of it's go for a 10-minute walk outside. Some of it's shut down social media for the day. Give yourself, don't have your phone at dinner. That's one big thing for me, whether it be out with friends or date night or whatever it is. You want to make sure I try to be super intentional about not having my phone, which means I have to leave it in my purse or off of the table, because if I see it instinctively I want to grab for it.
Yeah, because there might be something that you can check.
I'm missing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to add for that?
No, I think that's so good.
So good.
So good.
So coffee, caffeine, and what that does. I'm not against caffeine.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, I want to tell you the story. A few weeks ago, I started working through Joe Dispenza's work. So I've had his printed book for years, and tried to there's that saying, when the teacher's ready or when the student's ready, the teacher will arrive, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I've had that book for years. Tried reading it, it just didn't hit. For whatever reason, the last couple weeks, about a month ago now ish, I got the audiobook and I started listening, and it stuck.
Wow.
So not only did I start listening, but I started intentionally going through the steps that he talks about and implementing and practicing the things he does. And one of the things is meditation, and I don't know where everybody lands on that. There's different sides of the spectrum for everything. So I want you to look at it from the midpoint of the spectrum, and not from the either end of the spectrum on that, because I think there's benefits along all of it. And I was deterred away from meditation for a long time. But I started doing these meditations, and so I'm this is like so fresh. I'm like literally, I think I'm like day 10 of meditating, like consistently. And I've noticed that I don't need coffee as much. Like I'll have coffee in the morning because I like to have coffee, but I won't even finish my coffee that I drink in the morning, which I used to be like last year. It was, I would drink my coffee at home. Sometimes I would make one to go to work or stop at Starbucks on the way to work, and then have coffee in the afternoon, which I'm not against coffee, and I would probably have coffee, but I've been like drawn closer to like Earl Grey tea and mint tea if I want something else, which is like so not me. So I started doing these meditations, and I noticed that I don't scroll on social media as much, or even like have a desire to do that.
Wow.
Especially on days where I actually do the meditations. And then also like a desire to like sit at home and like watch TV or veg out on the couch.
Yeah.
I feel more productive.
Wow.
So that's been like an interesting, I feel like my brain is going through this like reset, that the year that I had and where all my chemicals were is like getting reset and set back on track. So
interesting.
And it's quick. It's like, it's literally only been 10 days. Yes, I read the book and I love it. The book that I'm talking about is Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. That book, in combination with the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I read those two books. Like I was reading Let Them while I was listening to Joe Dispenza's book.
Not at the same time.
Like not at the same time, but like I would listen to Joe Dispenza's book while I was driving, and then like read that book and the other book in the morning. So
I love
definitely not at the same time. I'm not that talented. So I sometimes, if you find, the reason why I'm telling you this is like, if you find yourself in this like fight or flight, or this mode of like, there isn't enough coffee on the planet that would help me get through the day, or you're arguing or fighting with everybody, like it might be time for you to go through a dopamine detox.
Absolutely.
And kind of do a reset.
Find your baseline.
Yeah. Find it. Okay. I've got another did you know. Did you know that your brain cells can't tell the difference between real reward and a notification? So technically your phone is tricking you into thinking that you've accomplished something when all you did is open the app. There's also, did you know that multitasking drops your productivity by 40%? So like watching TV, like Netflix or whatever, while you're answering emails doesn't make you a superhero. It just makes you tired by the end of the day.
Wow.
I got these headphones, which they're like noise canceling headphones, but they also play like raindrop music or like waterfall music.
Love that.
So I've been putting those in while I'm working instead of like watching a show or like having something on.
That's good.
It's been fun.
Peaceful. Yeah.
Got any fun facts for us, Mal?
I think it's interesting what you just said about the dopamine spikes and your brain being tricked into thinking that you're doing something productive and giving you that reward when you're really not. I found the days where at the end of the day I feel like my lowest and just like kind of kicking myself for maybe lack of productivity during the day is when I am scrolling or, binging a Netflix show or, maybe not eating so healthy, maybe just like grabbing like kind of like crappy food because maybe in the moment I felt like, yeah, this is fine. This is, I'm getting through the day. But by the end of it, you look back at what you did and it's like, what did I really even get done today? So I think just like taking kind of kind of looking at everything that you've done and seeing what's actually helping you and aiding you in your productivity and what's just giving you that spike.
Is there any certain type of notification on your phone that like gets your attention and sucks you in more than anything else?
Like I said, I don't have a lot of my notifications enabled. Like there's no sound notifications unless I purposely put that on. But I guess work related, just because like if that really involves like a little bit of urgency on my part. And so I don't ever want to feel like I'm missing something or, somebody needs to talk to me about something. I don't want to miss that. But I'm happy with myself that I've kind of gotten away from needing to check my whatever Instagram DMs or I don't know, Facebook. It's like barely even a thing anymore. But
yeah.
So a little bit of the work stuff induces some, urgency there for sure.
Would you... is there a time in your life where it's been like a thing for you?
Yeah. Thinking back to when I was at my most, probably just like, I don't know, my lowest state of self-awareness, when I really just was thinking that my worth depended on how others perceived me or how, quote unquote, popular that I was or whatever. Definitely in my younger years, like teens to like early 20s probably. And that's when Instagram was really like big and people were, posting their perfect lives on Instagram and like, here's me, having the best time at college. Like, don't I, don't I just look perfect or whatever? And so the likes and the comments and stuff, that was something that would be a little bit more important than whatever I was doing in that moment. Just took me away from the moment a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So thankfully I've moved past that, but I can remember those days. And especially when you're so young, like you're navigating like your identity and stuff like that. That's why I just think social media is such a like insidious, there's so much, I don't want to say evil, but like there's kind of like a lot of negativity behind that and how that's affecting like the youth's brains, especially when you're growing up. I didn't have it when I was like 11 through 14, but like those are some of the most formative years of your life. And like I pretty much like any 11-year-old that you find today has a phone or like at least has, some access to an iPad or something. So I get nervous about the next
generations. Talk about this
generations.
from like a mom perspective.
Yeah, I get nervous thinking about my kids growing up because I think a lot of the kids that maybe like my son is around, and this is not a knock on anyone's parenting at all. Like everyone's totally entitled to trying things out and navigating that. But just so many iPads and phones at such a young age that he will, he'll talk about like, I'm going to get a phone when I'm 10. And I'm like, no, like, no. And when I first like had my kids, when I was all gung ho about like no screens at all, which like we've definitely some screens, I would be like, no, they're going to be 18. They can buy their own phone or whatever. So we'll see when we get there. But it's just such a factor these days. And like you hear about, unfortunately, like the, self-harm and
Suicide
stuff that
rates
can
and,
happen.
bullying.
Yeah,
And
the bullying. And a lot of it stems from social media. So that's scary and sad. It's really sad.
there's so many avenues of social media that I don't think that we're even like aware of. Because we're just so far removed. Like I only have Facebook and Instagram. I don't even I think I have a Twitter account, but I don't have it on my phone.
No.
I do not have a TikTok account, which I think that's getting banned or something anyway. And then what else? Like Snapchat and like there's been like I can download any app I want to, right? But the problem is like I know I'll get sucked into that. So it's like where do we draw the line on having these apps? And like if you have, I don't know like what the like line should be for someone of like what's the max social media apps somebody should have. Like my question I guess like authentically, like do you need all of those apps?
Right.
Do you really need like what are you using them for? I think it's different if like you actually are using them for your business but like don't trick yourself, because like I can say that I'm using them for my business. But like majority of the time I'm not posting for business. Like I have people that post those for me.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So like I think coming to terms of like first step of your dopamine detox is like go and look at your phone and see how many of these social media connecting apps do you have.
That's so good. Yeah.
And maybe start like trimming the weeds a little.
Yeah. Maybe this TikTok ban is actually gonna be great but I know people are like immediately looking for the next app that they can download that's similar to TikTok, because people are really gonna miss it. Even just the name TikTok is so like it's such a dystopian like TikTok time's a wasting. But
I'm the kind of person that watches Instagram Reels, which I guess are like 2-week-old TikTok videos.
You're Gen X, right? Or what are you?
Showing my age here, I guess.
No,
I don't know.
All right.
Do you play around with like morning routines or anything like that?
Yeah, that's something that I'm trying to establish a little bit more this year. Like I said, getting to the gym pretty much every morning during the week. My kids just started going to this co-school 2 days a week, so that frees me up,
Nice.
In the morning and during the day. But definitely we have to have a plan for those mornings getting the kids to school because, my gosh, if you go in without a plan, like you are doomed. Like chaos ensues. So I think just even having to wake up at a certain time and get everybody out the door, that helps a lot. But I want to work on that more for my off days. Like when we don't have something going on, it can feel really nice to like have the slow mornings. Like that's great, but also making a plan for the day.
I love a structure. Like morning time is my favorite time.
Yeah.
I will fight for a bedtime so that I can have a morning time.
I love that about you.
Like I'm usually the first one like to leave a party and like
it's great.
I've stayed later and longer because of things but I still wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning because like it's important for me.
Yeah.
I know the days that I don't do the morning routine and don't do the things that like really fill my cup, especially right now in this season. I'm doing this meditation thing and like I didn't do Saturday and Sunday and I was like, I don't know if I'm okay with this, but also like I had some things to do on Saturday and then Sunday, like I just took a morning off.
Yeah.
There's a really good book that I want you guys to know about. It's called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and it really emphasizes the importance of starting your day with intentionality, waking up earlier, not to get more done, but to create space for peace, clarity, and purpose.
That's good.
He talks about this SAVERS framework as a guide. So it's silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and then scribing or journaling.
Okay.
So those are like the 6 areas that he would say to kind of tackle.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be like 30 minutes each thing. You can be quiet for 2 minutes. One of the things for affirmations after I get done with my little meditation sequence, I'll use ChatGPT and be like, hey, this is what came up during meditation, or this is what I'm praying over, or like, this is what my focus goals are for this week. Yeah. Can you help me create affirmations?
Wow.
And they have been so incredible.
Yeah.
Because I have a hard time with like the creativity part of my brain of like, let me create this sentence that's like perfectly structured and also is like super powerful.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, where like something like ChatGPT comes in like super handy. There's some people that are probably like, oh, AI is taking over the world, but you know, it's, if you use it correctly, it like is life-changing.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I would recommend that for you guys if you're trying to figure out like, how do I even write an affirmation or what does this look like? Visualization, it says here, like picture yourself moving through your day with focus, grace, and achieving your goals without stress. Also like picturing the person that you want to be. Like, what's your ideal person? Who are you? What are you achieving? What are your goals like? What would that feeling be like? So it's not just like, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire. Like, what would it feel like for you to like experience that?
Yeah.
What would it feel like for you to lose 20 pounds? What would it feel like for you to be able to run a half marathon?
Yeah.
So not just visualizing it, but like really like getting into the feels of that.
Love that.
Exercise, just even 10 minutes of that is going to help boost your mood and focus and also releases those endorphins and lowers your cortisol. Reading, it doesn't have to be like, one of the things I loved about, I did 75 hard before. One of the things I loved was the read 10 pages a day. Yeah. And it was super strict, like pick the book and read 10 pages. And it was like concise. Maybe for you, it's like 2 pages or read for 5 minutes and however far you get. So figure out what that looks like for you. You can, like that's part of my morning routine. I'll get coffee and now I'm like reading a book for 30 minutes. And then after that, I'll go and do all my other things, which we'll talk about the other things on the next episode because we're going to talk about biohacks and all that stuff next time. Okay. So even like waking up 30 minutes earlier can help you make a massive difference and really like start with structure in mind. Anything to add with that? With kids, is there a way to like create some sort of a morning routine for kids with that, maybe of like, maybe you each write down one affirmation and like read a Bible verse or something. Yeah.
So we started our homeschool journey this year and the kids are in a homeschool co-op kind of thing this semester. But last semester we were really just going it on our own and we're still doing that at home. But having a routine is so important because it just gives kind of an expectation for the kids, mainly my 6-year-old. Routines are healthy for kids. And I think a lot of my parenting is very like, I've just always kind of gone off of like, instinctive and like the closest to like just like natural as I can get. So as far as like sleep and stuff like that. So I know there's like a million different points of view with that stuff, but routines in that sense, I think are really healthy for kids. As a mom, waking up before the kids is like major because you do have your own time. You don't just like jump right into the, it might be a little chaotic in the morning. So just being able to like quiet your mind, have a little bit of coffee or whatever you need, and then thinking about the day. And like you said, kind of visualizing it and going from there is so helpful.
Yeah, it's been a big, I fight for my mornings. It's life-changing. So
That's
if
awesome.
whatever that looks like for you, like fight for it, even if it's 15 minutes early. I think it'll be something that you'll like find yourself wanting to build on because it's such a big deal.
That's good.
I want to kind of move into what does this look like to do like a dopamine detox?
Yeah.
So we've talked about different areas. We've talked about social media a lot because I think that's like the most profound piece. But some people are just on their phone constantly.
Yeah.
Texting people, commenting on dumb things on other people's social media.
Yeah.
Watching videos, playing video games is another thing. What are some areas that you think people could like, hey, I see myself doing this a lot. Like what's some areas of like self-reflection people can kind of move into?
For me personally, like the doom scroll is something that can happen, whether it's at the end of the night, like maybe it was a little bit of a stressful bedtime with the kids and I just want to like shut a certain part of my brain off. But then I'm scrolling for an hour and a half and I'm like, where did that go? I could have been reading or I could have been whatever, just sitting in front of the red light and like meditating or something healthy for me. So I do kick myself sometimes with that. So I want to be more intentional, maybe not completely like erasing that because I want to like kind of make my goals a little bit more tangible, like the gym stuff, like make it like feel easy to do it. So maybe not erasing the apps that, maybe not all of them, but then just limiting them, and I think there's some apps you can get that kind of like make a timer for you.
I think your phone does that now.
Can your phone just do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Problem with that is like all you have to do is enter passcode.
Right.
Which I have been like, I've tried that in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm
just like hitting snooze.
Yeah. I'm just going to enter the passcode and like, give me one more, or like you can hit like, give me one more minute. And then if you surpass that one more minute, then you have to enter the passcode.
Yeah.
So unless like somebody else can create the passcode for you and you don't know it, there's like a workaround for that. So that didn't work for me.
No,
but
it's so easy to get around it. Yeah.
So I had to like make a decision.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago that once you like actually make a decision, there's no going back on that.
That's good.
So that's like, even for me, I quit drinking alcohol. It'll be 7 years. And it wasn't because I went to a 12-step program or like had counseling. It was a decision that was made.
Yeah.
And same type of thing. I don't know what you out there, your struggle is, but you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Until you make a decision, that the lack of decision making sets you up for the ability to compromise.
Yeah.
So when you think about like, I don't know, I'm gonna get all the way off of social media. Is that super realistic?
Right.
Like I've done or tried to stay off of social media. The problem is that everybody communicates on there.
Yeah.
And then it feels like you like are missing a piece of your life.
Exactly. Yeah.
I even did like a flip phone era for like 9 months.
Oh,
I had a flip phone.
How was that for you?
I loved it.
Yeah.
The problem that I saw though was that everybody text messages.
Okay.
So in order for me to text them back, I had to like do the like 3 whatever.
Yeah.
And it just became like super hard, and like group texts like weren't a thing.
No.
I found myself getting on the phone and having conversations with more people, which was, it's cringe for me, but also it was like, this is like heartfelt because this is how we used to communicate. So I would only call people if it was like necessary.
Yeah.
And everything else I would kind of like figure it out, or like, hey, I want to connect with this person. I'm not going to send them a text. It caused me to be a bit more intentional with that. I still have my flip phone. I might jump back into that. But yeah. What were we talking about before that? Flip phone thing.
The social media.
Getting off of social media and making a decision.
Yes, the decision.
Yeah, even here it says like to replace and don't remove. So I think even when I talk to people about nutrition, I'm not saying like if somebody's like I have a Snickers bar every day before I come home, or like at lunch, like they have their thing. Like everybody's got your thing.
Sure.
I have a cookie, or I have a piece of cake, or I have a Diet Coke, or whatever it is. So instead of like just like ripping that out of them, like keep that in there and replace your Diet Coke with a kombucha. Yeah. You know, keep the same habit, but turn it into a healthy habit. So maybe like when you're scrolling, or like you said, like when you're scrolling at night, like what else could you do? Like, is it like have a book by your bed and like that's what you pick up, and not to totally remove the activity, but to kind of replace it with something.
Absolutely.
Even they talk about that with like fasting. And I've heard like people, have you ever done a fast?
I have, not super long.
Yeah.
Like a few days, and usually with like some broth or like something. So I've never done a water fast. Yeah.
Yeah. And like people talk about that. Like this is January. I'm sure there's tons of churches that are doing some sort of a fast of fast something. And prayer. And I think it's great. Like even the Daniel fast, like they take a lot of like processed foods out of there, but like eat the healthy things. Right. And so it's not always about depriving yourself. It's a lot about like, but when it comes to like fasting, I think like one of the premises is like man can't live on bread alone. That's Jesus speaking. Yeah. And so we talk about what does it mean to fast, and why would you fast in the first place? And it's really like so that you're not reliant on something. Jesus wasn't saying like don't ever eat again. Right. He was like, is this what you're relying on for your life? Good, or can you look to me? So like even when someone's fasting, they're like, okay, instead of eating at lunch, go down and spend 15, 20 minutes and pray and like really like get in with the word, read your Bible. And so you're not removing an activity. You're not like starving yourself, like you're feeding yourself with the word. Like that's what the concept would be with that. Right.
That's good.
So same kind of thing here. Like what are the things that you're stuck on that are causing those dopamine spikes for you? And what can we, I did say like I did create a 30-day dopamine detox for you guys there's going to be a link in the show notes in both Spotify and other notes, podcast places, but also in the YouTube show notes as well, so that you guys can go through and do the 30-day detox. It's nothing fancy. It's just something to help keep you accountable. It doesn't cost you anything. All I need is your name and your email to get it, and it'll take you directly to like a Google Docs link. So yeah.
Love it.
Anything else you want to add, Maldal?
No, I think this conversation is so important
you love
to
it.
have. I love it so much.
Didn't she do so good today? I'm so excited for this.
Thank you.
But did anybody see her boots though?
No, why do we have to bring attention? I thought we were going to go the whole time without talking about my disgusting boots.
We said we're going to make a whole segment on like, look at our shoes and let's see what they all look like. So
we're going to do better next time. That's all I got to say.
Hopefully our editing team
like be in the shot.
Cuts back out to the shoes. We'll see. They might not even be in the shot. So if you don't see them, you're missing out. They're known as her like chicken coop boots.
Yeah, these are my just in and out of the house backyard boots. There's
you
no
have chickens?
I have chickens.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I didn't know this. I don't think so.
I am the chicken friend.
That literally just clicked in my brain.
Wait, are you for real now?
I'm being real.
How did you not know that?
I don't know.
Okay, well, yeah.
How long have you had chickens?
We have had them probably close to 3 years now. I got them pretty soon after we moved into our house, and it's the first time we've had a house with like an actual yard and in a town where you can have chickens, and it's something that I've just been interested in for a long time.
How many eggs do you get a day?
Well, right now we're having 0, which is terrible, but it's just...
What happens? Why?
Because it's cold and it's less sunny, so the chickens need vitamin D and they need to conserve their energy to stay warm. So it's like they're not going to be pushing out eggs, you know.
Do you have them in like a...
I have a run, so it's like a 10 by 30 foot run, and then their coop is attached to it from the outside, so they can kind of go in and out of the coop at night, and then walk around in the bigger run and stretch their legs. Yeah. So they're fun.
You ever scared of like coyotes or
Well, we've had some incidences. Yeah, we've had some
you found
incidences.
some
We have some coyotes.
murdered ones?
Yeah, there was a time where we lost a few birds in like the span of like 5 days or something, and we didn't understand what was going on because we were locking them in and stuff. Well, it turns out a raccoon, there were 2 raccoons that my husband Tom caught after the chicken. I'm like, we need to put a trap down and see what's going on. So 2 raccoons and then an opossum.
Ooh.
So
Those
opossums
guys
are chicken killers.
They are creepy AF.
I
too.
don't like opossums. I used to have a friend. I have a friend. I just haven't talked to her in a long time.
Oh, sorry,
who-
friend.
yeah.
Hopefully you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah,
She
Sarah,
still
if
loves
you're
you.
listening, one of the things that I remember is she had a deathly fear of opossums. And in beauty school, we would sometimes just like Google a picture of an opossum and just say like, hey, Sarah, and show her the picture. And it was like a visceral reaction.
Oh, okay.
Like my mother-in-law hates spiders, like to a really like, it's like a
Do you ever do
fearful
tricks on
state.
her?
So what?
Do you ever play tricks on her?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But
She hate you for that.
I don't
She
know.
just puts up with you?
She just puts up with
It's
it.
because you're cute.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Molly's husband is from Wales.
He's Welsh, yeah.
Welsh.
He's Welsh. He's from Wales.
He doesn't seem like a chicken man.
Well, he's not.
Okay, this is good.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
This is coming the chickens come from me 1,000,000%.
Yeah. But does he take care of them?
He
quite a bit?
really helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
that's funny.
He likes them, or he cares about their well-being, I think, more than he like likes to have them. Because he's always like, oh, they just seem so bored out there. Or like, shouldn't we like,
Give him a toy.
Yeah, like isn't it just such a
Do
boring
chickens
life?
have toys?
Some, yeah, I've seen some like little like chicken swings you can
Okay.
make. Yeah, or like just fun things for them
You guys
to
gonna
jump.
make a chicken swing?
I'm just like not that fancy with it. I know
Okay.
some like chicken people on Facebook that are like really
Are you in
into.
chicken groups?
I'm in all of the chicken groups. Like
So
you
this
would.
is what you're scrolling.
This is
at
what I'm.
night.
Yeah, no, honestly, like people will
That and
post
conspiracy
things.
theorists.
Yes, yeah.
Great.
So chickens, conspiracy theories. That's kind of my thing.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Now you guys know Molly
Nice to meet you
and
guys.
all about her,
Yeah.
and that was fun. That was a fun little ending.
So much
I loved
fun.
it.
Yeah. Thanks,
So next
Kalie.
time we are going to talk about health FOMO is real.
Love it.
So we're going to go through biohacks and what's good, what's bad, what's like super confusing, what we wish we could do, why sometimes you think you have to do it all, but really you don't have to, and
Yeah.
like maybe how to save some money on doing some of that. So we're gonna spit some knowledge at you guys about that. So
Can't wait.
that's all we got.
It's gonna be.
Yeah, this is Molly and Dr. Kalie again, and
Thanks,
we just
Kalie.
hope that you enjoyed Molly joining the team. I'm so excited for
So
her.
excited.
Make sure that you check the show notes for the Dopamine Detox, and until next week, let's stay battle ready.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.